All right, Loco sports fans, Loco football fans, welcome to a live game day edition of Loco Pigskin Live. Wes, you are over at Hurricanes where it's the calm before the storm. I know people are getting ready. They've seen the parade, they've sent them off. The guys should be arriving pretty shortly at West Ashley High School for their walkthrough and team meal and all that stuff. So it is almost go time for the lower state championship game that I think we all kind of looked forward to or coveted as this season started and went along a little bit more as it went along. And we all kind of thought about the spectacle that it would be for the plucky underdog Hampton County first year as a consolidated high school taking on the big charter school in the last year before the multiplier goes into effect. That would bump them up. It's kind of the last chance for the underdogs to knock off the big dogs in this system as it stands. And here we are. We have arrived at the moment. I am afar. I'm up in Alexandria, Virginia, but I'm telling you, I've been anxious all day waiting for this game nonetheless. And I know that over there where you are, it's got to be, even more energy and enthusiasm and anxiety and all those things going into such a big game. But how you feeling, man? You excited to get up there?
I'm feeling great. I am pumped. The atmosphere around Hampton County right now and here at the Hurricane Sports Bar at Hampton County High School, it is through the roof. These guys have been anticipating this opportunity. The season, certainly there was a lot of hype early on about this team, but I even think that this team would be where they are now, and that's a testament to the resiliency, the work of this incredible coaching staff and this team that has really bonded together throughout this postseason run. And it's been a collective efforts from all sides of the ball, and it's been tremendous support all the way through. And I expect to see a ton of Hampton County supporters making the trip from here to Charleston, where they'll face Oceanside Collegiate. And I think you alluded to it, but you're playing with house money at this point. I mean, I don't think many others expected you to make it here. Obviously, the opportunity is massive. One more win, and you're on your way to Orangeburg for the state championship. But you're facing a school that has been at this position before and has known how to come up on top this time of year in the postseason, and certainly with the resources and the talent to be able to make this far on a consistent basis, especially in this classification 2A. You're going up against an Oceanside squad that certainly there have been debates on whether or not they truly belong in Class 2A. And, certainly the ruling, I thought that the South Carolina High School League as now mandated, I think was the right decision. But, I think a lot of the state is rooting for this Hampton County team to knock off Oceanside tonight.
I think you're right about that. I mean, certainly everybody loves an underdog story, right? And this is kind of the ultimate one in our state right now, given, just the climate and the bad news that has been, cast about Hampton County. And I think the people there have a lot of pride and their community, and they want people to see the other side of Hampton County, and they've shown it. The Patrick Henry people turning out for Hampton County's game last week, and then the people from Hampton who made it up there to support the Patriots, and all the love on social media going both ways. And I know there's a bunch of Patriots fans who are going to be there supporting the Canes tonight, and Jimmy Searson's going to be there supporting the Canes tonight, so that's exciting news as well. So we'll have all bases covered for this game tonight, even though I'm out of town. That's a good feeling. And I saw there's a live stream, so I'll definitely be watching and trying to keep tabs and might even see if we can figure out how to set up a little live watch party for people like me who can't be at the game. If we could put the stream in here and watch it while we talk about the game, that might be fun. So I'll play around with that depending on what my situation here is with the family sitch, but should be doable, I would think. After the Mizzou game's over, we should be good to go. Yeah. But anybody over at Hurricanes, you missed the lunch rush, so it's probably pretty quiet over there right now.
Oh, it's it's kind of the calm before the storm over here as well. I think we got a big rush coming in the dinner hours. It's Black Friday night. I think everyone's out shopping, and they're going to make their way down here to Hurricane Sports Cafe, and then keep the energy going tomorrow with Clemson, Carolina.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, they're doing a great job. They do the Ghost Pirates games over there. I saw they broadcast them. They had the Patrick Henry game, state championship game up on the TV. That's really cool. So, no, it's become a cool little hangout. The food's been excellent when we've been there. Hospitality's phenomenal, and there's always good folks in there. So, shout out to Hurricane Sports Cafe for their support this season. And let's go ahead and shout out our MVP sponsors, Wes, starting with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. Even though she's here with me up in DC right now, I promise you, if you're looking for a house, we can get you started right now. We'll get it started on a search. She's sitting there at the computer right now doing something. I guarantee she can get you a search set up, start helping you find your place in the Loco. Maybe you want to move to Hampton County and be a part of this great community that we've been exposing you to throughout this season, and all the great things happening out there. Great real estate deals out there right now. Get in before it's too late. Megan Jarrett can help you out, and she's the official realtor of Lowco Sports, of course. And then when we find that home, we'll call on Homegrown Home Inspections. Jan Lucas and his team will give it a once over and maybe a twice over if needed, and make sure that everything is good to go before you enter into a contract. Make sure that you've got a great investment in this low country real estate market. And when it's time to sign the papers, we'll go to the Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports and our original sponsors since 2017, Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad. There's G Daddy. Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad doing so much for our community, and they will take care of all your legal needs as well. And then finally, Hospice Care of the Low Country, the official hospice care of the Lowco Sports. It is Hospice and Palliative Care Month in November. So if you are looking for somebody to donate to on Giving Tuesday, Lowco Sports would love a little love as well. But Hospice Care of the Low Country, a great option. They're doing so much to provide hospice and palliative care in our community, as well as free grief counseling. So please support them with your charitable dollars if you are so inclined and so able. And those are our MVP sponsors, Wes. And looking ahead to tonight, I mean, we can, everybody listening to us should know about all there is to know about this Hampton County team. That offensive line has just been tremendous. I was breaking down a little film of them over the past couple of days, trying to figure out before I talk to Coach. I want to ask Coach, but like, which guys are really the guys who are really dominating on this offensive line? And man, it's all of them. Like it really is, and it's not just five guys either. Like you look at film and you're like, oh, Big Dan was in that time, Trent was in that time, Big D was in there that time, Big D, somebody else was a guard that time. Drake DeLoach has been just an absolute monster. There's a lot of things going on there on that offensive line. But I think TJ at center has
Yeah,
been the
got you
most
right.
impressive to me. He has
He's been
just
the
been
anchor.
phenomenal, and he gets off the ball so well, just doesn't get beat, and really, gets that push in the middle that allows Zion to pick a hole and go. And then of course Zion Dobson is an
Yeah.
otherworldly talent that
But the
is
first, if you
still,
talk to Zion,
even
the
as a
first thing,
finalist, still underrated.
yeah, the first thing Zion's going to say, he's going to give credit to the O line, and that
Absolutely.
is where it all starts. Right, as you said, he's been an animal. A bunch of other guys have really filled in well to their positions, and to get this buy-in from that entire unit, especially those seniors, that's something that Zion Dobson can thank for forever, because he was a big reason why success is happening this year. But it's been that group in front of him that has helped lead the way, and those guys are just entirely go to and vital aspect of why this
Yeah.
offense is churning the way it is. And
Yeah.
Zion will certainly test that. But man, I mean, we saw Casey Fields last year and what he did, 2,000 yards. I mean, not even a full season, but I think Zion takes the
Yeah.
cake as the most impressive running back that we've seen probably past decade. Like I've had some blind
He's
spots.
I think he's the best one I've seen
Yeah,
since '05. I can't think of one that's even like, I mean, Casey was probably it until this year, and that lasted 1 year. Like Zion's just had a ridiculous season. Remember, he didn't play the second half of a bunch of games earlier, at least
yeah,
the fourth quarter. Like they left a lot of yards and touchdowns on the table for him, but that was because they planned to be playing now, and they didn't want him worn down. And he's already a
load
little
management.
banged up because it happens. But you knew you wanted him to carry it 20 to 25 to 30 times in the playoffs. So you didn't want to beat him down early. There were a lot of games where he had 12, 13 carries, and still put up over 200 yards, which is just remarkable. But no, I love that. I love that offensive line. I didn't mention DC Causey, but he has been terrific as well. Left tackle. I mean, he just doesn't get beat. He almost never gets beat. And Drake Deloach really pulls well from that guard spot, as does DeMonte. I mean, they're just rock solid on that offensive line. And then another stat that I thought was phenomenal that Chris Myers mentioned to me the other day. First 5 games, Hampton County had 0 interceptions, or maybe it was first 4 games, 0 interceptions on defense. And then they've had 16 since then. I believe it was 5 games and 8 games, if I'm not mistaken. I tweeted it the other day, but it's an outrageous stat. 16. They didn't have their first one until game 5 against Hilton Head. They had 0 through 4 games, and they now have 16. So they've averaged 2 each game since then. It's outrageous.
Yeah. And the secondary has taken advantage of the opportunities that, that defensive line has really helped them achieve with the pressure and just, Rob Hanna's coaching style. Let's get after the quarterback. Let's get to the backfield and let's pressure the opposition. And whether it's Mandrell Sanders or Cody Seegers or Big Kayvon Shidham, they're able to find guys to deliver pressure on most of these, big time downs throughout the series in order to either get a sack or pick off a pass. And even against some strong offensive lines and some strong competition like Woodland, they've still been able to get it done. Although this Oceanside team, I think, is going to give them a test that they have not seen yet on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they saw it against Brooklyn Casey, I think, which, by the way, is in the Final Four. Final Four in Class 3A, and that was a competitive game going, down the stretch. Brooklyn Casey put one in late that after they could have kneeled it out. So, and that was after Hampton went for it at midfield and didn't get it. So that game was very competitive. So, they've seen this level of competition. I don't think it's a case where they're seeing something they haven't seen before, but they have only once, really. I mean, nobody else has been on that level. So, I think the biggest thing is they believe that they can do it. And, the old saying that whether you believe you can or believe you can't, or believe you can or believe you can't, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of truth to that in the sense that if you don't believe you can, you have no chance. And last year, I don't think they believed they could when they went up there. And I think this year is a different story. So I expect it to be a competitive game. I don't expect what happened last year to happen again at all. But it is a huge task, a huge task. But what I was trying to pull up here is Hampton has 102 tackles for loss and 27 sacks as a team. That is some serious pressure on the quarterback. And what you said is exactly right. And I said the same thing to Myers. I said, because he said that's a team stat because Seegers has one of those picks. And I said, well, it's a team stat too, because how many of those were impacted by pressure? And he said almost every single one of them. Because, you get those big guys coming at you and you start throwing it up. And those cats in the secondary like to go get it and see what they can do with it. You got Zamone Lofties. You got Jalen Singletary. You got Zay Garvin, who's, not touching the ball as much as he probably envisioned going into this season. So if he gets it in his hands, he wants to go do something special with it. And they're trying to get to the end zone every time they touch it.
We got a big birthday today as well, right?
We do. That is kind of an X factor, right? QB1's birthday on the night of the big game. I mean, that's good vibes all the way around. Chris Terry, happy birthday, son. 17th birthday would be a really cool birthday present, a really memorable birthday if you got to get on that bus and ride home with all your guys thinking about a state championship game next week. And that's as good as it gets.
That's the dream, and I think he's got a great chance to potentially live that out, because I just believe in the way he's been playing. He's been making plays out of nothing and several points in the postseason. We saw his ability to break tackles and score on the run, like we saw a week ago. So he's been quite a magician in the pocket, and sometimes you always remember about you always think about Dobson, you forget about the versatile dynamic play of what we've seen with Chris Terry. And he's just a tremendous leader. He represents himself really well. He's just incredibly poised, and talking to him, it just seems like a guy who has that winning mentality. The fact that he's ready to be in a position like this. He has that clutch factor about him. I just love the way that he's playing, heading into an opportunity to really put himself and this team on the map here in the state.
Yeah, no, he's been terrific, and I think it's kind of gotten overshadowed a little bit. I mean, rightly so. Obviously, Zion has been maybe the offensive player of the year in the state, but Terry has been exactly what they needed him to be. I mean, 62 of 114, solid 54%, 1,205 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Just really consistent. He's added 212 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He doesn't take very many sacks. He's got a good head about him. He gets the ball out and he doesn't force it into traffic, and just understands that his job first and foremost is live to play another down and see if we can break another one. Like we can give it to Zion. He's one missed tackle away from a touchdown every time he touches it. So let's don't give the ball away. Let's just live to fight another down and see what happens. I really think
it's a situation where the defense can fuel the offense. I know this offense is talented, and they know how to put it together and find different options to score. And it's really this offense can beat you in so many different ways. So it's really hard to completely shut it down. But the defense, the way they just continue to fire after the opposition and pick up stops. I mean, this is still an inexperienced core. You have the former quarterback out for the season for Oceanside Collegiate, Edward Redenbach, so he's not going to be in the lineup. And you got a couple of guys, Tanner Swisher, Will Virgilio, and Aiden Manavian. And Manavian looks pretty solid, but I think they haven't really seen that kind of pressure in pass rush like Hampton County has provided on a given basis. And I think Hampton's going to find a way to disrupt them early. And, it only takes, that one big turnover or a couple key stops to really feel the offense the other way, especially when you're setting yourself up with a short field. So I think this Oceanside offense is definitely beatable, even how well they've been playing right now. I think if you're able to contain Virgilio, who's kind of become their go-to weapon, and make Aiden Manavian, who's, still emerging into this role, try to make him beat you through the air, and kind of make him uncomfortable. I think this defense can kind of rattle this Oceanside Collegiate team. So in that sense, I think they're certainly beatable today or tonight. And the way and the hunger and just the firepower that we've seen with this Hampton County team, who 11 guys believing in themselves on the field, I'm starting to feel really good about the potential of what this game could bring to them and the whole country.
Yeah, no question. And we are going to listen in here from Rob Hanna post game against Andrew Jackson, and then we're going to watch some dancing in the why isn't that playing the audio? Oh man, I don't have the audio on that right now. We will pull that up later. I was trying to export everything together and I muted the audio.
There you have it right there.
I have it in a Oceanside is strong, but they can be beaten. I agree 100% with that. I still think they're the favorite, so to speak. I think this is a situation where Hampton has to kind of do something to beat them. They've got to play pretty close to their best game. Now, they've played pretty close to their best game for a little while now. So I feel like that's, well within reason to expect them to do that. Now, I think they've gotten better every week. I think
you gotta hold off on the penalties. We saw that 2 weeks ago in the second round. Kind of get to a little bit tense, a little bit antsy, and they gave a big score. They committed a couple penalties. So
got to stay within yourself. You gotta stay within yourself. Don't panic or overreact to anything. I mean, just play every play as it comes, and that's the key. They've been doing it all year. They have to stay focused on that. But now I do have Coach Hannah's kind of speed up.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty late. We played great first half defensively, offensively. Didn't get in the end zone a couple times we could have, but wore them down enough in the fourth, made some big plays, which we needed to do because they gassed us and came back. Just proud of the guys for their effort, their focus, and executing when the game's on the line. Yeah, they bottled him up pretty good early, and he just kept feeding him the ball, but also spreading around the other guys. And eventually, they ain't going to bottle him up forever. He's going to hit it. And in fourth quarter, I said we ain't turning the ball over. We just give it to him and let him eat. So proud of him for that, and the O-line. And we had some receivers make some phenomenal catches on third downs and keep drives going, and that was big for us. Just to keep the ball away from them because we didn't want them to get in a position where their back could have wore us down. He's a big load to bring down, and we just felt like if we keep it away from them and stay ahead of them, that was the goal. Nothing better than practicing on Thanksgiving Day.
This was pretty great, though. There is that. Let's see how many people have watched this on Instagram. Good number. Almost to 13,000.
I will see that 7-8 hours from now. I will see that same thing in Oceanside 8 hours from now.
I mean, that's just the most fun. And again, it's not an act like you've been there before thing because they do it after every win. Wins are hard. You got to celebrate. You got to earn them to get to celebrate. I just love this.
Really up on the field and celebrating the 100%. Fun to see these guys pull up. Do a couple more.
I just love it, man. Paul. I like Paul dancing on the bench at the start. That's my favorite. I got Paul. Nah, it's good stuff over there, man. It's good vibes. I hope that they can keep it going for a couple more weeks. But let's shout out our varsity sponsors. We got DDS Web Design for those businesses that need to do more business online. You got to get your website with the latest SEO, search engine optimization stuff built in, and DDS can do all that. They can host, maintain, and what's the other thing? Design, host, and maintain websites to help you do more and think bigger for your business or organization. And then we got the Parker Law Group, our friends who have been serving legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties for years. And now they've jumped on board with us to help us continue to expand our coverage across our 4-county coverage area and celebrate these student athletes and teams like the Hampton County Hurricanes, who tonight will take on Oceanside Collegiate in the Class 2A lower state championship game. And Wes, you've probably dug in a little bit more to Oceanside. I know they're big, strong offensive line. They can run the ball effectively. Obviously, Hampton's defense has been one of the best in the state. Both these teams have two of the best defenses in the state, but which one has enough offensive firepower to score enough to win this game, I guess, is kind of the question. And it may come down to who takes care of the ball the best. And that may be the factor. Who gives it away at a key time?
Yeah, I mean, who commits the least amount of turnovers? Who's the more careful with the football, and who's able to execute to in the red zone and close to the goal line? And it could be one of those opportunities where if you're able to get that stop on fourth down or force that fumble inside the 20, I mean, just those couple of small plays that end up determining the outcome of a game like this. And I've been doing research. I like the guys that Hampton County has. I've been impressed with what they've done, even though they lost a reliable guy in your center. I mean, they have a lot more offense. They got a nice receiver with Gavin Gaspar. Trey Brown's been a reliable tight end. Ben Brin's going to be a guy to keep an eye on. He kind of is that go-to player in the trenches who finds time on both sides, and he is quite tough to hold down. Finn Johnson as well. But I just believe this Hampton County team really has has all the pieces you need to match up against what this Oceanside Collegiate team is doing. I think the bonding that we've seen from this team throughout the season, I think, speaks a lot to the chances that the Hampton County team will have tonight. And I just think they've, for the most part, they haven't been fundamentally sound with football. They have not turned it over very often, but this Oceanside defense is going to be, a strong test on all three levels, and you're going to have to buy in. Everybody, all 11 guys out there, especially Chris Terry. And there are a few other players I can trust right now more than Terry, because he has been outstanding. And I have full trust. I think we said this at the beginning of the season, if you could pick one guy, one quarterback you can trust in the state championship game, coming back full circle to this question, because we said at the very beginning of the season, how high is Chris Terry on that list now?
Well, I don't think any of us mentioned him preseason, but he's on your list for sure now. Well, I mean, without a question, he's as cool-headed and consistent as they come. He may be the top of the list at this point, because, Bays definitely did a lot, but like in that system, and he also he's a gunslinger. He's a risk reward guy. If I got to have just a solid performance in a championship game, Terry might be at the top of my list right now. He's really solid. And, Xavier Garvin was a guy we mentioned. So they've also got him. And that's something to remember, is they haven't had to use him much on offense these last few weeks. They've been kind of sitting on that, and they've got some other stuff in the playbook that they've been working on, they've been putting in, and they've been holding back. And some of it works with either him or Chris under center. And so I'm excited to see what they pull out tonight, because if not now, when, right? I mean, you use it tonight. This is what you've been saving it for. So I think the offensive coordinators are going to pull out all the stops as far as some different looks. And when they find something that's working, they're going to lean into it. And I feel pretty good about this. I told Coach Hannah, I just can't wrap my head around it being right that the last week was the last time I saw these guys play. It doesn't feel right. And, he said the same thing to them post game last week, where he said, in my vision, this wasn't the last game. So I knew that this wasn't the last game. And so, you guys had to see it, but I already knew. And I couldn't get him to let me know more about his vision, but I feel pretty confident his vision didn't stop tonight either. I think it goes on to next week in Orangeburg. So we shall find out if his vision comes true, and if I have any intuition that's worth a damn, or if I'm just using wishful thinking here. But I do feel good about this Hampton team. I think that, the spirit of community and togetherness that has really carried them so far has now grown to like epic levels, to the point that you had people lining up to feed them. Like, by the time I got around to letting Mariah Hannah know that I'd like to try to raise a little money to cover a couple meals through Lowco, she said, I think we've already got it all covered. I mean, it was like within an hour, it was all covered. People were lining up to feed the kids and send them on their way. And it's just been really cool to watch. And, I know it happens every place pretty well that this kind of thing occurs, where a team catches lightning like this, but it feels extra special right now in Hampton, as far as the community support. The fact that even rival, quote unquote rival schools are rallying behind them, I think says a lot about not only the story, but just the character that they've shown throughout the season. I think people have really found it easy to get on this bandwagon, and from what they've seen from this group of kids and coaches and community. So I'm super jealous that I don't get to be, in the stadium tonight with you, but I look forward to watching the live stream and keeping up on social media, and then talking with you tonight after the game.
Can't wait. I cannot wait to head over there and be a part of this, what I think is going to be a memorable night, not just for Hampton County athletics as a whole, and the first season of this new school and this new program. I mean, it's just really awesome to see these two communities come together, because these two schools were rivals before this year. Estill and Wade Hampton. And I remember I wasn't able to cover it, but I remember you covering that very last rivalry game between those two teams and what that meant and what that entailed. And now, a year later, them coming together for a chance to win a state championship is just all in all really cool and amazing story.
Yeah, it's super cool. And yes, I was there last year when Estel's run ended against Cross on the coldest night I can remember. And that was a sad night, man. Like it really was. But at the same time, you knew what was coming around the corner. And I think the guys who obviously the kids who graduated, that was a tough night for them. But then they had the opportunity to make a run in basketball season too. You know, Angelo Lewis was one of those guys who was graduating, but he got to have kind of a last stand. And so it was a really cool story at Estel last year. And I think getting to know the spirit of that group of people and that community helped me feel more confident that this thing was going to work this year. You know, there were always going to be some people who didn't get on board. That's going to happen. But there were enough people that you could see believed in it and had the same motivations and the same vision that the people in red had. And so you knew when they both got together and put on the blue, it was going to be okay. And then I also saw enough of Rob Hanna and talked enough to him and got to know him well enough to know that this was the guy to unite them. And
this was started from January, from spring practice. The vision was there from them. And there was a complete buy-in early on in that process by Hannah and this group, which you don't see in every program, that kind of level of dedication, just, starting off a new program in the spring, getting it right to it, and just that there was a sense of belief early on, and it was really sparked early on the season with what they were able to do, further sparked by that dominant win they had at home, the punctuation that they delivered against a very good Woodland team, and then they carried it over into the playoffs, and hasn't been a completely unblemished run. I mean, they have had their share of ups and downs, especially in that second round of game against Andrews. There was some not going to say panic, but there was some moments early where they gave up a
14-14 felt a little janky.
Yeah.
After it was 14-0, it was like, uh-oh.
Right. Yep. Had to come back on the pad. And of course, I thought the turning point was that throw from Chris Jarrett to Xavier Garvin, where he snatched out of the defender, then Dobson scored the next play, I believe. So, and after that, they were full speed ahead. So, it's going to take contribution from obviously your star guys, and then you just look at the offensive line. You mentioned Tajay Wright. I think that's the guy you got to start with, and he's going to have to be rock solid alongside all those guys you mentioned, who have been really unsung heroes on this team. So, I look at the line on both sides, and then I look at Terry, and then I look at Xavier Garvin, because I just think that guy is due for a huge play in the postseason on top of what he's already done. That guy, I feel like there's going to be a lot left in him before this season is over. So do not sleep on Xavier Garvin to make a big play. And then, I mean, how much can you say about how well that secondary has come up big too? If they're able to get some pressure, if you got an opportunity to make a pick, you got to make that pick. That's what it comes down to.
And they've done it. Jalen Singletary's got 6. He's been terrific. I think Zamon Lofties and Lil D, Desmond Mathis each have 3. They got some guys who they love to go get it. And like I said, they just like to get the ball in their hands and make a highlight. So when they get a chance to go get it and see some open field, they're going to do something fun with it. Lofties has been tremendous. He's an X factor. I mean, almost every game there's either a punt return or an interception or something where he just flips the game on its head with one play. And Singletary's been doing that lately too, and they're brothers. So, that's kind of cool that they both went off last week. And I suspect somebody else will step up. Josh Goodman has been pretty quiet, but he's capable. Hezekiah Abram. Jordan Bovane is no longer a freshman. That guy, there's a lot of things they do to get him involved with the Jets and stuff like that. So I expect he'll be a factor as well. And it's a lot of guys to have to account for that. Then somebody like a Desmond Mathis can slip underneath and he gets the ball in his hands and he can go too. So, there's a lot of weapons at their disposal, and extremely well coached. They execute really well, and that's what it's going to come down to tonight. If they execute the game plan and the way that they have, they're a tough team to beat, and they're going to be tough to beat tonight. But if they make mistakes, the little things matter more tonight than they ever have, because the little things are the difference when you get to this level. When you make mistakes, you will be punished. They will take advantage. And so you miss an assignment, it's getting blown up in the backfield. That guy's not missing the tackle anymore, not like he did a couple weeks ago. You miss an assignment on defense, the quarterback's going to see the guy, he's going to hit him, and it's going to be a big play. He's not missing that throw like he did a couple weeks ago. So, you got to be on top of it. And then Coach Hanna and his staff, I'm sure, will be preaching that, hey, whatever happens, keep playing. That's one of their mantras as well, is that the game ain't over till it's over. They wear people down. They're able to rotate on the line a lot more than most 2As are. I would suspect that Oceanside's able to do the same, and that's why this is a little more even matchup than it might be against most rural public schools. But they've got 7, 8, 9 guys who can play in the trenches between two sides of the ball. So they'll rotate a little bit, but they can keep fresh guys in there for the most part. And so I think it's a fair fight, and as fair as you can get with the situation we got here. And I think that the Canes got a real great shot to pull it off on the road. They get to ring that bell a lot in enemy territory.
Will they bring the bell on the road?
Oh, 100% they bring the bell on the road. You better believe it.
Awesome.
A mobile bell.
I expect to see those visitor stands full of blue shirts and blue jerseys.
I haven't heard of anybody who's not going yet, so I think they're all going to be there. Who's streaming the game tonight? I'm not sure, Rob, but I did retweet the link from Southern Sports Radio or whatever. I'm not sure who's providing that stream, but it's on YouTube, so should be able to get it. It's from a veritable or a verifiable source, so shouldn't be one of those porn streams. Yeah, it's definitely David versus Goliath. I agree. You got money on Oceanside. Well, that's probably the smart money, but I ain't betting money on it. I'm just.
I don't know. I started with Oceanside, but after kind of thinking about it and dissecting the matchup, I kind of think Hampton County.
I do too. I just wouldn't bet money on it.
Yeah.
I'm too invested emotionally to bet money on it. You can't. That's the first rule of gambling.
Yeah, the emotional side of being a homer always can get to you when you're betting on.
And it's a funny thing, right? Like when I was young, early in my career, I was very sensitive to not being a homer. And then as I gained perspective and got older, I realized all being a homer is just being invested. You have emotional investment because you've developed relationships with those people, and now they are representative of something more than just a guy playing the game or coaching the game. They're people on some personal level, and you feel their emotions through you. And so as an empath, you do. Not everybody does, but as an empath, you feel their emotions. So, there's a bunch of people I've grown to care about playing in that football game tonight, and they're going to be really devastated if they lose, and they're going to be really elated if they win. And for me to not have a vested interest in that would be kind of silly to pretend that I don't.
You're a journalist, but you also have that human emotion.
I'm a human. I'm a human. Yeah. And these are the kids we know. Like, it'll be sad for the other kids, but I don't know them, and I won't see them and have to feel it for them. So I'm always rooting for the better story too. And the story tonight most certainly is in favor of David, not Goliath. So let's go Hampton. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
But hey, Wes, who you riding with? You riding with the Geralds?
I believe so. Yeah,
they're scooping you up. All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, it was no problem getting you a ride out of those folks from Hampton, because they love Lowco. They appreciate the coverage and
a big thank you to Hurricane Sports Cafe for everything that they've done throughout this postseason run, and for giving us some free meals and being a great hangout spot to be able to catch some friends and being able to chat before these games. What a great spot.
Great partners, no doubt. It's a port in a storm.
Patrick Henry, state champions on the window today, and go Hurricanes.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, well, let's hope the magical season continues in Hampton County tonight. Before we go, let's shout out our Lowco Booster Club. We've got Prime IV Hydration and Wellness now open in Belfair Town Village. If you're dehydrated or feeling lethargic, go get a drip and sit in the massage chairs and get to feeling right. They will take care of you. Say hi to Max for me, and then go to Rooted Living Wellness for my friend Dr. Ambrose Cole, best chiropractor I know. He does it all. He'll get you feeling right, and also just give you a little pep talk for life and get you focused on the right things. And then Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. If you have gross floors, they'll get your floors so clean that your feet will thank you. They also do upholstery, carpet, even ceiling tiles. Eagle Creations out on Argent Boulevard is a great spot to grab some organizational items, some promotional items, as well as marketing items, some custom apparel. They got custom gift baskets. And then the Court Lifestyle Pros, Low Country Natives selling the Lowco Lifestyle on Hilton Head. That's Daniel and Debbie Court. And rejoining the Lowco Booster Club, we've got Jay's Barbershop, our friends out there in Ridgeland. That's the place to be. What a cool barbershop to hang out in, huh, Wes?
That was so much fun to do the live show with them a couple weeks ago before Thomas Hayward's game, and just a fun atmosphere over there in Ridgeland. So we thank them for hosting us.
Yeah, super cool place. Jay's great people, big supporter of Thomas Hayward Athletics, and a big supporter of Lowco Sports. So we welcome them back as a sponsor. And all right, final thoughts here, Wes. We want to do score predictions?
Yeah. Score predictions? I definitely would have said Oceanside Collegiate a couple days ago, but I just bought in by the opportunity that presents itself for Hampton County and the way they just get after it on defense against it's still an inexperienced core that hasn't really seen that kind of buy-in at the level we've witnessed for Hampton County. So I'm gonna go Canes 35-31.
All right. So we mentioned turnovers. Chris Terry ain't gonna turn it over. The quarterback who's made 2 starts might. So I'm gonna say that's the difference. I think the Canes are gonna get a couple more picks, and or maybe we get a scoop and score where Mickey or Kayvon comes through and clobbers him, and the other one picks it up and goes. Maybe Lowco scoops it. I don't know. Somebody's going to scoop and score. We're going to get a defensive score from Hampton. It's going to be the difference. 27-21 Hampton County. That's what I'm going with. All right. That's my prediction. How many yards for Zion?
Yeah, I'll go around. I think he breaks 150 because he's going to get, a bunch of carries.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, this is. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but you're saving up his energy and his workload until now. So
this is it. Ain't nothing left to save it for, but the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Let's say.
I bet. Yeah, I'll say 160-ish.
Yeah.
If he gets over 150, I think they win.
Yeah.
I think the defense can do enough against a relatively inexperienced quarterback. I think they can do enough. So I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. We got about a little over 4 hours until game time.
Yeah,
we're gonna let Wes go so he can get on the road up to Charleston to check out this game. He'll be updating on Twitter, right? You'll have Twitter updates, and I will be. I'll figure out how to do if we can figure out a live stream. A thing where we watch the live stream together, watch party. Might be able to figure that out. LaRob's got it at 33-16 Oceanside. Ooh. Throw tomatoes at this man. Get out of here, Rob. Nah, just play, man. Should be a great game. And certainly, I think if Oceanside gets off to a good start, punches them in the mouth, it could go. It could go sideways. It always can. But I do think this Hampton team is pretty mentally tough for the most part. I think they've figured it out. They've got their heads locked on right, and they've got great leadership at the top. And I think they're going to be able to.
I think mentally they're there. I think it's going to be the execution part, and just getting too much in your head at this point.
They're so technically sound on offense, but yeah, if they're a little off, it'll make all the difference against a really quality opponent with a lot of speed on defense. You've got to really be sound and make all your blocks and hit all your assignments. But I like their chances. But I can't wait till game time. Travel safe, all you Hampton County fans and others, Lowco fans who are making the trip up to support the Canes. And we will roll some more highlights. Actually, we'll just roll dancing while we go out. You can enjoy that while we get out. Wes, safe travels, man. Enjoy the game. See you on the other side. Till next time, go Lowco.